I think that Chromatic Lantern is an incredibly overrated magic card and that most of us shouldn't be playing it. Yesterday, I made a very brief video saying that, and I got a lot of pushback, at least far more pushback than I expected. Those that support the Lantern said that they play it for a multitude of reasons. Some because it's an okay card and they don't know of anything better. Some said it's a low-cost way to fix their mana. Others said that it takes the mental load of having to manage their mana, which I definitely get, so they get a pass. But probably the biggest reason why people say they play Lantern is because it's a cheap way to fix their mana in 3, 4, or 5 color decks. Even in, and especially in those cases, I still think there are far better ways to fix our mana, and I want to spend a little bit of time in this video explaining how. So let's start with the ultimate challenge, the 5 color mana base. Now I've actually made a whole long form video about this before, which I'll link in the description, but to give you some of that in brief, in a 5 color mana base we have access to green, which gives us access to a whole bunch of spells to help us fix our mana. From spells like 3 Visits, Nature's Law, and Farseek, to Rampant Growth, Cultivate, and Kodama's Reach, not to mention things like Explosive Vegetation and Skyshroud Claim. There are tons of good ways in green to help us get the lands that we need. If we then look at the mana base itself, we have things like Pain lands, check lands, and searchable dual lands that we can pair with basics and those searching spells to create a really resilient and cheap mana base. Resilient because it doesn't fall over to a naturalize. But what about decks that don't include green? Well, if we look at red has tons of treasure generation. So perhaps the worst color pairing when it comes to mana fixing is Esper. Now granted we are playing blue, so if we have a blue heavy mana base, we should be able to draw our way out of most of our issues. But even with that said, with things like the talismans, the signets, the diamonds, Arcane Signet, Fel Warstone, and something like Black Market Connections, we've already got 12 ways of fixing our mana in Esper colors. In a 2-color deck, we have more limited access, but also more limited need, and I'd argue that the array of dual lands that we have available to us are more than enough to give us the fixing that we need. This has been long, but I say all this because Lantern is clunky in most decks. I'm not saying never to run it, but in most cases there are better options. And I care about your decks being as good and fun as they can be, which is why I brought this all up to begin with. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow for more Base Deck Diaries.